Hello, hello, hello. So, hello, 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 and welcome to this live stream. Just checking if everything is running smoothly. I'm also recording this here to store this for the future. Yeah, everything is happening. Should be good. We're running. Up and running. Now let me get my Chavy Chase on here. Hello there. We're in beautiful nature. That's right. Beautiful nature here, as you can see. The bright, lovely colors. It's very sunny here. It's hot in Austria. Summertime. And yeah, it's been a while since you heard from me. I've been mighty busy, as well as also having a strike on my channel, which is pretty annoying. For a video that I did 1.5 years ago, an interview I did 1.5 years ago, it's all so unpredictable because of medical misinformation. The first interview that I did with George Kavasilas, together with Errol Kaya, was deleted. I was a naughty boy. Seems like I was a naughty boy, but that doesn't make me disappear from YouTube. I just see it as an opportunity to think, what else can I do? And that's what I did. And actually, I finished. Me and Liz together, we finished the magnum opus of our microcosm, which has everything to do with the law and bringing forward the law. But before I speak about this, first things first, it could be that once or twice during the video a train is going to pass through. That's just because of the matter of fact that there's a train running next to us. Just so happens, yeah. Train ride which reminds me of destiny and having your focus right, knowing where your destination is, which is all what Gnosticism is all about, as we know with the telestai, and I don't have to tell you anymore, with telos meaning aimed, having an aim. But first things first, I intend to dedicate this live stream today, in which I'm declaring the quantum leap and the Gnostic Takeover being taken to the next level. I dedicate this video today to the forces of ultimate power, who I am in alliance with and have a symbiotic relationship with, the forces of ultimate power. The force that governs this reality is more powerful than me, because I'm still growing. I'm not perfect. However, the best way you can learn and grow and evolve according to evolution is to have a connection with what I term the forces of ultimate power. And I wish to dedicate today's live stream to the forces of ultimate power, who I also like to term as the plant medicine, the intelligence that informs the plant kingdom, or natural intelligence, the intelligence that we as mankind are endowed with since birth. It's been given to us. It's that spark of divinity that can never be taken from us. We can always claim it back, and the game of the enemies of life is that we never reclaim it back. Just let the train pass. I don't know if you hear the train. Just to emphasize this very important point. So just to emphasize this very important point, we are the power. You listening to this, I am the power. This is the source of all power. It's coming from me, from here. It's coming from you, right here. Mankind has the first say in all of this. No psychopathic class, fake authorities. They're nothing. They're done. That's the message of the forces of ultimate power that govern this reality. Which the field of wetiko, the spirit of evil that is personified, that was anthropomorphized through a horned god, the Dark Lord of Satan. It's actually a field of consciousness, an inverted consciousness that puts itself as a field, it puts a bubble over all things of true knowing. It's a bubble, as I explained in one of the previous videos. It's a blockage to true knowing. And this rule of evil here on earth is over. And all the power originates from us. We give it its power. Wetiko is not an independent, like a vampire. The vampire is dependent on the blood that it sucks of its victims. It's not an independent entity. It's a field that is only fed through your complicity, your participation, my complicity. Everything that I say, I apply to myself. That's why I'm a Gnostic. I don't just talk, I do. I act according to the truth. And we're at a crescendo moment right now. And it's all important that we reclaim our power back. And as much as we can, inspire each other in these times of great difficulties, but at the same time of great opportunities. This is the other side of the coin that the bubble maker, wetiko, doesn't want you to see. That, yeah, it's a great crisis. What the alternative media, I don't want to always generalize the term. I'm sorry if I get stuck in that sometimes. It really bothers me the way people are being misinformed by misinformants. However, the overfocus on just the crisis and the continuous loop of this crisis mode is out of sync with me. That's why I've got my own platform. That's why I'm putting forward the Gnostic Takeover idea into the world, because I don't get a kick anymore from being in crisis mode. And, oh yeah, we need to wake the other people up, the sheeple, and when the sheeple finally wake up, then we're going to change things. It's bullshit. The bullshit checker, not the fact checker. The bullshit checker of the Gnostic Takeover says, well, that's nonsense. That's a whole lot of nonsense. And reality works completely differently. So, before I lose myself in some kind of rant, I've got a few things prepared. So, that was my dedication of this video, going back again to the point, the forces of ultimate power. This is what this video is dedicated toward. It's again, the field of wetiko, the spirit of evil, brings you what I talked about in the last 2 videos. They will be in the links underneath in the description. I uploaded the first one. The second one is still pending, part 2 of perceptions outside of the tunnel vision. The field of wetiko is the bubble maker. It always creates bubbles, prisons of the mind. A prison of the mind can be very astutely symbolized by a bubble, because whilst you're in a bubble, you don't know you're in a bubble. Only once the bubble bursts do you realize you have been in a bubble, and you're like, what the fuck? I suddenly see it. And this is how the alternative media, I'm just talking about the people that I've come across, have kept people in. They've kept them in bubbles without people even realizing that they're being kept in a bubble. When you don't see an evolution taking place, and actually an involution, because David Icke, for example, was much better in previous years than he is right now. He stays stuck on this whole just a stuck record player at this point. There's actually an involutionary process happening with him, and yeah, he's getting older, obviously. But the point I'm trying to make is we need to be accountable for the actions that we take. We have to be fully honest with ourselves. This is why I say I'm happy to hear healthy critique from everyone about the Gnostic Takeover. How can the Gnostic Takeover improve? I'm happy to be criticized. I'm happy to be called control of position because of X, Y, Z. I would take a look into that and have an evolution going on. But when you listen to people like Max Egan, for example, there is no evolution. It's like David Icke, it's a stuck record player, and he's just doing it for entertainment purposes down in Mexico and all that. What I'm trying to say is the bubble maker of wetiko that has its agents placed in the alternative media for everyone whose bubble bursts from the mainstream. You remember? Maybe you came into this world and you were like already from the beginning. That's a possibility. It wasn't the case with me, but maybe you came into this world and straight away you knew it, that something's very, very wrong here. I mean, what the f is going on here? Maybe that was the case with you. It wasn't the case with me. Maybe in the very beginning, what I can't remember anymore, that might have been the case. But can you still remember your initial awakening moment? Where it was like, geez, now hang on a minute. There's something going on here. I always thought it was nuts. I didn't necessarily feel comfortable in this whole normal, this comfort zone that everyone seems to enjoy, but I detest from the very core. And I'm like, what else is going on there? With me, it was about 9/11. That was in 2009. Finally realizing that there's something like physics and physical principles that physics are governed by, where thousands of tons of concrete and metal can't just evaporate like that. And I had that genius moment realizing that there's something called physics, which makes the official story of 9/11 that the mainstream media were peddling absolutely impossible and a fairy tale. Yeah, I could also be Father Christmas or the Christmas tree. That bubble bursts, and then you find out, as what was the case with me, there's this whole industry going on, and you've got a banking system running that you just need to basically control the creation of money. That was a genius level at that moment, where I was like, oh, now I understand what's going on in the world. It's the money supply. And those who control the money supply, they control the politicians, because the politicians, they have their elections going on every 4 years, and they need sponsorship for that. And then you've got the major players, the multinational corporations, chucking in there, And that's why they're controlled by the multinational corporations who get their credit and their sustenance, which is money, in this wetiko informed world, from the banking system and the bankers that run it. So one bubble bursts, the next bubble bursts. Now I know why politics is rigged. And that also explains 9/11. But I tell you, you have to apply this process of bubble busting continuously. Otherwise, you will stay stuck in the very, very smart and intricate ways that the field of wetiko, the spirit of evil, the bubble maker, will trap you in another bubble. Because you are a danger. You listening to this right here. You are a danger to a multi-dimensional control system run on the scene level by the psychopathic class. Total psychopaths who are perfect conduits for the field of consciousness of the spirit of evil to come into this world, and this world being run by it. You listening to this here right now, you are a danger. That's why when you break out of the mainstream media trance, we better be fucking clever and entrance you into another bubble that will make you continue be a food source of energy for entities running the system in the background of the psychopathic class that use the psychopaths as conduits to manipulate this world, to get their food, as Carlos Castaneda explains. The predator class, human beings have a predator, and they gave us their mind. And those predators have they're hyper clever in finding a way, any way, whatever, to continue being fed, because otherwise they start starving. And then they push the emergency button and call it the corona crisis. Is that what happened with COVID? And it's actually, the whole thing's upside down when we think that everything is going to collapse and it's all catastrophe and it's emergency and it's crisis. Oh, stay in the tunnel vision. Actually, we're entering the realm of freedom. And the whole thing's a perception deception. Think about that for a second. Did they, the enemies of life, that use the psychopathic class, the psychopaths in the banking system, in as judges and lawyers running their criminal legal system that runs on intimidation and blackmail? That's why everyone in these multinational corporations like Pfizer, for example, have to sign NDAs. What does NDA mean? Look it up. Non-disclosure agreement. Yeah, because they're criminals. They're running a criminal system. And all we need to focus on, really, is to remove our consent to the field of wetiko, to the spirit of evil, to the field of consciousness that informs its agent, and not be an agent for it. You see, this is the thing. There's so much focus on individual people. I mean, are they really people? More like vampires. There's so much focus on someone like Bill Gates, for example, when he's just one guy doing one job for the control system. When someone like me, I focus on the things you don't really see, the psyop that's happening in the alternative media, And all we need to really focus on is to keep busting the bubbles of perception. Not stay trapped, not stay in any new comfort zone. Keep going. Because the forces of ultimate power, they want you as alliance. But you will only be in alliance and under the full protection of the forces of ultimate power when you do the job. You have to keep going and not stop with any comfort zone. I'm not happy in the comfort zone of, oh no, I've got my platform, the Gnostic Takeover, on YouTube. Oh, and get donations in and that's how I can... No. Not interested. I have to keep going. Because there's people in other countries like Palestine and Libya who've had their countries destroyed. That needs to be cleaned up. And that's why we have to keep going and not stay in any form of comfort zone and say, oh, this Steve guy, the Gnostic Takeover, he's totally nuts, he's totally lost it because he thinks everyone's controlled opposition except him, and he thinks that there's a whole industry going on with the alternative media keeping people in the bubble because they're a danger to a multi-dimensional control system. Oh, this Steve guy is nuts. When actually there's a huge job to be done here on Earth. The great work of all ages, which is to bring freedom to our people. But not being anyone's savior. I keep making that point. You see, I've made many predictions, and I still have to get to my notes that I've prepared here. I'm no one's savior. I'm not gonna save you. Because I'm not Rainer Fulmick, Dr. Rainer Fulmick, the lawyer you can trust, who's got his license with the Bar Association, who therefore controls him. That's how you know that Dr. Rainer Fulmick is not going to make these legal cases work, and you'll be saved and you'll be fine. No! The Gnostic Takeover says no one is anyone's savior. The only thing we can do, the only thing we can really do, and it's great to know what we can do, the only thing we can really do is do the right thing. Just act morally in your action. Are your actions aligned with morality? Yes or no? Yes, you're on the path. You're doing the great work. And more things will be coming your way, because the only measurable parameter that the forces of ultimate power make their choice to work with you is morality. Is X being moral, not moral, declined, disqualified. But we have more than enough time to make more than enough experiences to actually realize that it eventually doesn't pay off. We've had many lifetimes probably. It eventually does not pay off to be immoral, because it always ends in misery and bloodshed. So many rants, so many things to get off your chest once you start speaking again. And boy oh boy, are these unbelievable times. Really, the best of times and the worst of times. It's huge. It's huge. Oh yeah, I have to go back to the point what we can actually do. Yeah, the one thing is doing the right thing. However, when it comes, and I talked about this in the second video that I'm going to upload here on the channel. It's on my backup channel, by the way. Also, subscribe to that. It's underneath in the description below. It's called Machtwechsel auf der Erde. Underneath in the description is my German channel that we're going to kickstart again. Me and Liz together. And there, I talked about that wetiko. field of wetiko is actually an information system. It's like a hard drive. And I have eliminated my bond. What I explained in that video was that a bond is a strong force of attraction. Your birth certificate from your birth is also, it's not only a piece of paper, and it's not only that they set up a corporation for you. That is what it really is. A bond is a strong force of attraction. And a strong force of attraction is linked to consciousness. What your consciousness attracts toward itself. And I am eliminating day by day more and more, and I don't know how much is left, but I'm constantly eliminating the bond that I have with wetiko. Where I always say, I as the high commander of the highest source, Stephen Wybrow, I command the complete elimination of all energetic ties to the field of wetiko now. I slay and eliminate all energetic ties to wetiko now. And I just cut them through. Because the only thing I can really do and work on is not to blame others outside of me. Oh, I'm blaming the bankers, they're so greedy. Oh, I'm blaming the politicians. Oh, because they're doing this. No, the blame game is a victim blame game. Only a victim is blaming. But you can't blame when you are the sovereign being who is working and doing the great work for the forces of ultimate power. When you have the power, you don't have to blame anyone. Because all you really have to do is eliminate your complicity with evil. That's all you need to focus on. Yeah, that's where you go right back to yourself. That's all you have to focus on. That's why I had to stop drinking alcohol. Did that last year. My last, except for one small glass of beer in Saint Corona that I had, just to piss off the high priest, because he thought, I got him to drink again. I only had a little small beer just to piss him off, because I just made the impression that, oh yeah, I've got to drink more beer now again, and I only had a little 2-3 sips or so, and left it at that again. But I drank my last beer, which I loved, by the way, last year in September. I had to stop it. Why? Because I had to remove my complicity with evil. I also had to stop smoking. I loved smoking a nice CBD joint, together with some tobacco, CBD weed, because the weed was getting too strong for me. I didn't want the effect anymore, so I stopped that. I had to eliminate that because it was my complicity with evil. I was complicit with evil. I had to look at my own behavior and stop blaming the politicians, and blaming the bankers, and blaming the Satanists. No, I was the Satanist. With my complicity of evil, I had to realize that Satanism is not just some people in robes sacrificing children in the dungeons. That's Hollywoodized Satanism. Satanism is not only a field of consciousness, a field of wetiko. They have structured society according to Satanism. The whole hierarchical class society is Satanism. When you look at the tenets of Satanism, you've got society. We have to realize that what things truly are, what's really going on, what is actually going on, what is going on in reality is the most important question. It will always stay there. The single most important question is not go into complicated thinking. This is how the enemies of life want us to think. Complicated, not simple. Oh, and like have clarity of vision. Oh, that's their worst nightmare. We have to look at where we are complicit with evil. and just eliminate that. So therefore, stop drinking alcohol, stop smoking. Now, I'm not putting myself on a pedestal. Oh, look at me, how great I am. No, I did that because I wanted to be free. Because I had enough of the suffering, and I realized the suffering, most of the suffering, I was imposing on myself. And I was lying to myself that I've got others to blame. I had to go right back to my heart and say, I'm harming myself with the smoking, with the drinking. So therefore, I don't know if I'm ever gonna drink again, but I'm gonna have to stop it, because the Gnostic Takeover, the idea, the forces of ultimate power said, this is the only truth that exists, Steve. Everything else is a distraction. Stop playing with yourself. Excuse me, ladies. Stop jerking yourself off. Truth is not a business. It's not something you're interested in. It's something you do. Otherwise, you're masturbating with truth. That's the absolute truth. It's hard, but fair. The absolute truth only comes through the trinity. That your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions are 100% aligned. That is the truth. And you can go back into the videos that I did a year ago. 1.5 years ago. And I was talking about the truth, and you need to serve the truth and all that. And I was still smoking. I was still jerking myself off with alcohol. And magically believing in this delusion, in the bubble that I was in, that I will make a difference anyway and I don't have to stop that. Well, I'm telling you, I had to fucking stop it in order to be free. You know why? Because I made the choice that I don't want any of this suffering. And that's how I lost all the people that I've always hung out with. All my friends, I lost all of them. Maybe they'll come back again, but I lost all of them. And you know what I'm doing now? Just going to be talking about? I'm doing the real work. Now I've got alliance. Now the forces of ultimate power have a big connection with me. I have a big connection with them. And they are giving me specific informations to put into action to take down the enemies of life who have no authority to rape and pillage the whole world. That's what we have to focus on. Everything else is masturbation with the truth. The truth is hard but fair. And I tell you, it's worth it. So, alcohol, cigarettes, out of my life. Fucking don't want it anymore. What next? Meat. That's Satanism. Right there. And boy, did I lie to myself for a very long time in keeping up that self-deception. I've slayed the meat completely. Don't want anything to do with that anymore. It's pure Satanism. For anyone who can't see that, well, put your binoculars on. Because it's freaking obvious. I was lying to myself on that one. Big time. That's why I say honesty. I'm sharing with you honestly. I even cry honestly to you. Because I don't care. Because I know it's authentic. And I know it's the maverick. Which takes them down. Psychopaths. Who everyone just gets intimidated by. Although they're nothing. They're nothing. They intimidated us. They broke into our house and took away the child of Liz, Leonie, to intimidate us and to put fear into us. And what do? We get the fuck up. No one intimidates me on my planet. You hear this? Enemies of life. Psychopaths. I'm the power, not you. I am the authority, not you. This is my planet that I serve and that I have to protect. She's my mother and I take you down, psychopathic class. You hear that? And there's not a thing in the world that you can do about it. Because I know how reality works. So now you know why I am a danger. The same as you are a danger. The only difference is, are you ready for the truth? The Gnostic Takeover doesn't say, I'm going to give you the absolute truth. Whatever I say is going to be the truth. Truth discovery is a process, and all I can give you is my absolute swearing of an oath on the truth. Everything that I speak about here on this channel is dedicated to the truth, and I'm not someone to be playing with myself. I've played with myself long enough, and I'm honest about it. To say it does pay off. We need to stop blaming others, blaming the Satanists, blaming the vampires, blaming the bankers, blaming the politicians, blaming the psychopathic maniacs in the multinational corporations, the CEOs, and all the jerk-offs in there who just have a job and a normal fucking idiotic life, just living paycheck to paycheck and hoping that they get up the ladder of the satanic society that they've created. That is the past. You need to eliminate the complicity with evil. Let go of the past. And realize there's a new world that we create in every single moment of our life. If the light of consciousness is activated. And we let that truth sink in. And realize that there's not going to be any savior, because the savior completes the victim-perpetrator triangle. That is the bondage of the wetiko mainframe of slavery. Waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. When is it finally going to happen? When you make it happen. That's when it's going to happen. When you make it happen. And when you're down in the toilet and your motivation's not there, round of applause to the forces of ultimate power that make you suffer, so you finally get up. All you have to do in life is that one great quote from Paulo Coelho. Life is all about falling down 7 times and getting up 8 times. You just have to get up that one more time. Always one more time. So when your motivation's not there and you feel that life sucks and there's no way out, congratulations. Whatever is your lowest point that you reach is the ultimate point of transformation. Because the forces of ultimate power are probably demanding you to discipline yourself. It's what they did with me. I had many times in my life where I felt like it's over. I can't do it anymore. And there's a strong force of attraction that wants to put you into that victim mentality, into that victim mindset. Yeah, well, I tried everything and nothing works for me, and no one donates to me, and I will always have money troubles, and all this chatter that is actually all traumatization from the past coming back to bite you in the present. So the past of traumatization can continue to control you in the future, but the one who makes the choice of letting that happen and consenting to that subordination of your true power is you, not the Satanists. They'll manipulate your mind to the freaking end to keep you in that trauma. To keep you in what I term the mind of past experiences. Where your trauma comes and bites you in the moment, which is a trauma from the past, to control you in the future. Those who control the past control the future. Those who control the present control the past. The Satanists will direct all the attention and focus onto keeping you trapped in that bubble. But you are ultimately the one who's letting it happen. Because the forces of this is what the forces of ultimate power want us to wake up to. It's that we have the power. When we wake up to our power, we realize that these psychopaths are vampires who just want to keep us stuck in a certain way of thinking, which stems from our past experiences and the habits and all the this is how my life is and this is how my life is always going to be sort of stuff. They will try everything to keep us in there because they will troll off our energy that is so precious to them. It will make us continue be an energy source for them. But the vampires, the psychopathic class who keep telling us in the media and alternative media, oh, we are all powerful, oh, there's nothing you can do, we're all powerful. When they are the freaking ones who are dependent on us. They are dependent on our energy. Now, who's got the power? A vampire has no independent existence. It's dependent on you and what you do. Where's the power? It's always been with you. That's why you are a danger. That's why I'm a danger. And once you get going, you love being the danger. I am the danger, as Walter White says in Breaking Bad. And being the danger is being in love with life. Because life force, informed by the forces of ultimate power, has to be the danger. You have to become the danger. That's when you're truly protected. Do you think anyone can come into my reality just like that and break down my fucking door? No, they can't. Because this is a vibrational, frequency-based reality. And I control it with my intention. And all the evil ones, the vampire empires, trying to influence my thoughts. Oh, we can do this and, oh, don't do that because otherwise we'll break in with the police and like, blah, 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 blah. It's like, you're nothing. I control my reality. Because when I wake up, I have the discipline to go swimming in the river, to go in the ice cold shower, and I set my reality. I, as the high commander of the highest source, Stephen Wybra, I set my reality. I'm the sovereign here. I'm the power. I'm the one and only authority. And I, as the high commander of the highest source, I command that I'm anchored in original, natural, organic reality, where I'm the one and only authority. My space is under the protection of the highest source of all creation. I collapse the wave function of reality into particularized form where I experience freedom here on earth. For all of mankind, for the earth, for all the sentient beings that dwell here on earth. I set my reality. Now, who the fuck is going to invade my reality? No one. Because they're nothing without your consent. They're nothing. It's always funny where these things go. Hope everyone's having a good time. I know it can be quite the ride here sometimes. Alright, I'm not going to talk more about meat, because to me it's absolutely freaking obvious. Consuming the flesh. Now, what do you think that meat is going to be informed by when it's been shot and killed? The energy of death? What's going to be the underlying information in that piece of meat in comparison to a vegetable that is alive? What is it going to be? Oh, and don't come with the argument that that's then the same thing. Meat, the flesh, and vegetables. It's not. You're kidding yourself. It's going to be the energy of death, and it makes addiction. You can observe that. I was as much a victim of that. It's an addiction. Anyways, moving on to much more important topics. The Gnostic Takeover is going through a quantum leap in consciousness right now. This is what I really wanted to speak about before I went off a rant, but that needed to happen. Someone needed to hear that. I can tell you, I'm just tuning in to you know what. You know what? The ultimate motivation. The life force that will never be defeated. They can't do nothing. They can't do nothing to me. I'm the biggest danger. So they can't be dangerous to me and be a danger for me because I am the danger. What a great scene. Type in Walter White Breaking Bad danger. Brilliant. Oh God. I mean, I'm really deep into Better Call Saul right now also. I mean, those two series are just genius. You learn so much about the law watching Better Call Saul. The law. Brilliant. Now, there's a quantum leap happening. Yesterday, me and Liz completed many months of hard work. We completed our third notice. The 3 makes things absolute in law. When you write the third notice, it's the third notification, and it makes things absolute in the law. And that was the challenge of my life, to write those notices, to write that particular notice. It took me many months to get it done. Many months of lots of work, information. I've got 2 of these stacked full with all sorts of information being processed into perception. Phew. Lots and lots of work. And we completed it. 10 pages we wrote. Massive notice. To a man who at times acts as judge. To lose all fear. This is why we were even put into this situation. You see, again, you don't blame. You need to go through the process, and it's part of the process to blame the police that broke into our house. Yeah, I was pissed off with them. Of course I was. It's a natural thing. I tell them, you're not authorized to do that. No one's freaking authorized to trespass on the property of man. No one. Unless they want to pay me X amount of euros. Can never be legitimate. Never. So therefore you film it. Always film. Always film. Always. That's evidence. Okay? So that was the biggest challenge of my life. Writing the third notice. And you know what? It's really part of the process to move through that, because you're pissed off at the police, at the judge, at the bailiff that showed up at the door, and they all think, they believe that what they're doing is lawful. They really actually believe it. They really do. although they have no legitimacy whatsoever, and I'll get into that. I've got stacks full of information about the law, things that you won't even hear on the law for mankind. I've gone beyond that in my unique way, when again there's nothing that I would recommend more than the law for mankind for people to do. It's a great course and a great resource of information to really get a good grip on the law, which is what we should all do, because the law decides in which reality you end up. Are you in your reality under the jurisdiction of natural law, or are you in your reality under the jurisdiction of psychopathic criminal law, of intimidation and this whole mind games, of, oh, if you do this, I'm gonna do that, are we all powerful? What is your reality being governed by? What jurisdiction? And I can say that my reality that I'm experiencing is governed under the jurisdiction of natural law principles and the principles of the natural order. That's the only thing that informs me where my behavior is still out of line, and I align my behavior according to that. It's a feedback loop that happens through what we call life and life experiences. How did I get to that place? By going through the experience that we have just had the last few months, where Leonie was stolen from her mother, stolen by kidnappers, by way of trespass, by way of kidnapping. I'm now under the complete, by being anchored, which I often say, by being anchored in original, natural, organic reality, which I command every single morning that I wake up. I command that I'm anchored in original, natural reality, organic reality. The only jurisdiction I'm under then is under natural law principles and the principles of the natural order. But in order to get to this situation, I had to go through the criminal legal wetiko system. I had to move through that. That's why I would strongly suggest me and Liz had to experience what we experienced, even though it was horrific. But I can tell you now, I know their biggest secrets. Ooh, they won't like it. And I won't set up a course like the law for mankind. And it won't take that much long of a time to explain to you, but that's probably due to the fact that I'm an information alchemist. I just come out with the big bombs. Because I don't care. All I care is about truth. And you'll be hearing a lot of information about the law. And how no one will touch you. No one will ever touch you. Because they've conditioned most of mankind to be so intimidated by the people that run this system. Intimidated by doctors. Oh, what's the doctor gonna say? Oh, I'm gonna go to the doctor. I've got some kind of flu. I'm gonna go to the doctor and see what the doctor tells me. Most of you listening to this are not doing that. But it's this intimidation, and what the doctor tells me becomes reality. Shown. Watch read the book You Are the Placebo from Dr. Joe Dispenza, for example. How much we by giving consent to doctors when they say, and it's absolutely proven scientifically, when they say you've got 6 months to live, they fucking die after 6 months. You see? Because we are the authority of our reality. That's why. But people are so intimidated not only by doctors, but it's by lawyers, judges, especially by the Satanists in the background. Ooh, you don't want to be messing with them. Well, I interact with them, and they're nothing. They leave you because they finally find out that they don't have any power over you, and that they are actually in psychosis. They always want to tell you that you are psychotic and you have a psychosis, and then it turns out that Errol Kaya is psychotic, living under psychosis. That Francis Vogel, high priest of Satanism, is totally psychotic. They are finding out that there's a greater power than the field of wetiko that they're informed by. These are the Satanists, priests, who you're not meant to interact with. They're meant to be kept in the background, orchestrating this whole shit show. They're nothing. I've experienced direct experience with them. They are nothing. They're a bluff. Total bluff. No power whatsoever. Unless you give it to them. Unless you haven't worked on yourself. You see, this is where the shadow work kicks in massively. Because when you know about psychology and when you know how to work on your shadow, be honest with yourself, transform those emotions of trauma and heal your trauma, they've got nothing on you. Nothing. But they'll terrorize you into complete self-destruction if you don't do that and you mess with them. They can be fucking lethal. But when you're aligned, when you're connecting to the forces of ultimate power, ayahuasca and datura, they got nothing on you. So then, after our experience in St. Corona, where Liz used to live, after that experience, it was now time to not only do this with the players in the background, with them, you do it energetically through plant medicine. However, the spiritual level, the energy, the energetic level, has to be combined with the material, so-called material level. Grounding it. It's all about grounding that. And it's like two sides of a coin. It's the whole journey of the Gnostic Takeover is linked with this. One side of the coin is the experience in St. Corona, where we checkmated the high priest of Satanism, or the high priests of Satanism, Errol Kaya, and their whole crew that they had there. There's a whole network that was surrounding me, because I am the danger, because I don't do bullshit. I actually do what I say. I just do these videos to let everyone know how things are going, progressing. One side of the coin is the energetic shachmat, checkmate, of the hidden force of the dark occult, high priests of the old religion of Satanism. And now the other side of the coin, that which links the spiritual pyramid, the upright pyramid, is the downward pyramid, where that has to be grounded in the world. And where is Satanism encountered in this system? Now I have to get my charger. Sorry about that. This is I have to go through that. Hang on a minute. I found it. Great. So now, this is going to be difficult. This is going to be sunny. No, I can't do this. I'll have to do something else. Yeah, we're flexible. We're flexible here at the Gnostic Takeover. Yeah, hopefully I don't lose the stream. Oh, that would be really, really bad. Hang on. Oh, one more to go, and I have done it. Unbelievable. But it's a little bit bright here. Anyways, right back. Unfortunately, a little bit bright. You see, it's not perfect here. It's a one-man show, and it's not all perfect, but that's why it's beautiful. Much better now, isn't it? Good. So, coming back to the point, the quantum leap that's happening. Where in this world, in the sort of, you see the background players, you do the energetic shachmat. How do you do it on the material plane? What is the basic concept of Satanism? It's about trying to make you believe that anyone outside of you can judge you. So therefore, you end up with a judge. Yeah, exactly. Because the state of sovereignty is what the Gnostic Takeover is dedicated in its investigation of the truth, to become sovereign in sovereignty. Sovereignty, by its very definition, a sovereign being has to be independent of everything outside of us. If you still believe that some judge or some lawyer or some something can force you to do anything, and he somehow has the moral legitimacy to do that, if you really believe that, you are living a lie. Because the truth is, under natural law, no living man or woman can tell and make do another living man or woman what to do. Otherwise, there's a word for it, and it's called slavery. And there you ask for where you gave your, and now I have to look this up, where you gave your authority, your power of attorney. Where did you give your power, your consent, in written form with your signature, to someone who at times acts as judge, who at times acts as attorney, or who at times acts as lawyer? Where have you given that power? Because if he can show you that contract, then you can cancel that contract anytime with a new signature. Done. You change reality in any moment. And this is what we're here to experience. This is why we had to go through what we experienced, with an incredible traumatization that happened on the 28th of February. They broke into our home. They took away Leonie, the child of Liz, without her consent. And the last months we have spent working on the law, and most of it, 95%, was shadow work and healing our trauma. That's what most of the work was. And it was the most challenging time of my life. It was unbelievable. I oftentimes really thought that I couldn't do it. I thought I had to give up. I can't do this. I just can't do it. And but what was I supposed to do? Can't quit. So therefore, what you do is what the source of all life force is informing you to do, is take time for yourself and stop putting pressure on yourself. And this is what was most difficult for me, is to realize that I have to take time. Because I wrote the first notice to the man who at times acts as judge 1 week after the event happened, in a totally traumatized state still. I wrote the first notice, right onto the case. The second notice I wrote on the 17th of March. It's about 10 days afterwards I wrote the second notice. And the third notice now after the second was written on the 17th of March, the third notice was written on the 21st of July. And was today received by the man who at times acts as judge, whose name I'm not going to mention, because this is a systemic problem. And hello, Liz. We've got the great Liz here also. Strongest mother this earth has ever seen. Most certainly that I've ever seen. That's a true mother. Not consenting with the psychopathic class, acting as agents of wetiko in the social services. Oh, they're all so social. Kidnapping a little child. Oh, they're so social. Yeah, in the satanic system, they're totally social. But when you don't know that, then most people, they try to judge us. My own family. Saying, oh, but in some way you have to consent with them, and you like, oh really, are you in the situation? Did they break into your door? Why is it that you suddenly are an authority on what we need to do? It's the field of wetiko trying to hack your environment to not go the path that we went down. Judgment from everywhere in your surrounding. And you know what? I don't care. Because I have to go with the truth. I have to go into the unknown, and I have to take care of this myself. I'll find, this is the trust. You see, this is the importance of trust. To trust that when you have a bond, a strong force of attraction, bonding, aligning, in alliance with the forces of ultimate power that govern this reality, that you'll be given all the information that is going to be needed and that is going to be required to get what you deserve. That's the trust. However, most people don't have the patience for that. Therefore, the forces of ultimate power tell you to learn that patience. And that's why all good things take time to manifest, and that's why we took the time. We took the time to really decode the law, and that's what's going to happen here on the Gnostic Takeover. I'm going to give you deep insights into how law works. You're going to lose all the fear. This is what is happening to me. I don't fear any man who at times acts as judge, because I know that a judge is only a title, and for a title to be valid and to be applied, it has to be an enforceable title. That's what they need when they do any action with you. They need an enforceable title. That's what most people don't know. We've been so programmed that, oh, it's a judge writing to me. Oh, it's a court writing to me. Oh, and it's all smokes and mirrors. We need to know what's going on. We need to really find out what is going on here. And what it is that this title, the man who at times acts as judge, is not worth more under the principles of the natural order than the man who at times acts as maverick, Steve, who calls himself diplomat of earth, because you're not going to get a great seal of certification by the earth. All you get is go and slay in the ice cold river in the mountain regions in minus degrees, and slay in the ice cold water. That's how you get your freaking diploma as diplomat of the earth. Do the Wim Hof breathing technique. That's how you become an agent for the forces of ultimate power. They don't do paperwork, because you know what? Sovereignty doesn't need outside recognition of it. It is It is because it is. That's why we've already won with the third notice that we wrote to the man who at times acts as judge. We already won the case. You know why? Because it is not dependent on him. It's not. The truth is not dependent on anything. It's them who are at war with the truth. And what's going to win the battle against the truth? The truth! That's what's going to win. Always. So actually with what we've done, we've set a precedent. I know the exact mechanics of how the state, what is framed as legitimate acts and what is framed as legitimate state actions and what is actually organized crime by the criminal international pedo-satanic criminal network mafia that I've been exposing here on the Gnostic Takeover for all this time. I know the exact mechanics of how they steal the children, frame it that it's legitimate to do that, and how to make all of the agents liable. That is the information that I have been given through the hardcore work that I've been doing the last months. Because I didn't run away from it. I said, Liz, no matter what happens, I will stand with you. I'll do that together with you. And you'll never be left alone. And this, what I've been going through, is where you really have no other way to turn but to go with the truth. How far are you ready to take it on? You have to go all the way with the truth. And then you'll find out, only then you'll find out how powerful you are. Only then you will find out how powerful you really are. Everything else is just the big quack, quack, quack. How much do you really want it? And what all the experiences, also the bad ones and the very, very bad ones like we had when they stole Leone. It's all here for our empowerment. Everything. That's what it's all here. The biggest agent of the awakening are the psychopaths. And we need to learn how to deal with psychopaths. Slay them and discipline them. Because if you do not discipline them, they will discipline you under their fake criminal legal system. That's not even legal. Legality is given when contracts exist. That's legal. Everything that has a contract is legal. But they break in your door, steal a child that is kidnapping, trespass by way of kidnapping, and then they want to contract with you afterwards, after they've committed the crime, and after they intimidate you with torture techniques, separating a mother from her child, torturing her, so you bow down to the psychopaths, sign a contract with them which then makes it legal. And they've inverted, it's an inversion of the legal system how it really should be, which is contract based. And it needs the consent without any imposition. Consent of two individuals or one individual with one institution to sign that contract. They inverted that, and I know the exact mechanics of how to make them liable. Am I afraid for my life? No, I am alive because I do that. The greatest form of joy, happiness, and spirituality is to take down evil. Because they are not welcome here on earth anymore. Because the earth has had enough. Because it has been tortured and raped by vampires enough for too long a time. And now there are finally voices who say, you leave! We are the power! This is our planet! It's a paradise planet! And we are free! Mankind has the first say in all of this! And I am not intimidated by psychopaths! Because I am the danger. Because I channel information from the highest source of information, the forces of ultimate power, for everyone to hear. Changes the entire fabric of reality, every single moment. That is my level of consciousness, and that is the danger. I am the danger. So are you. And the mind control in your mind, as Carlos Castaneda, speaking with Don Juan Matos, Native American shaman, talked about the predator, they gave us their mind. And the mind control wants to kick in and say, oh, when you shout like that. Oh, and when you do not obey to the psychopathic class. And you really mean it. And you really go with it. Oh, there's going to be consequences. Oh, they're going to show up at your door anytime now. They're going to come and they're going to break in, when it's none of the truth. The truth is that I only have protection because I am so. Because I am myself. And my true being is to take down criminals. Because I do not tolerate when criminals rape my human family in Palestine. It's unacceptable. Torturing my human family in Iraq, in Syria, in Libya, where the war is still waging since 2011. We're 2022. And everyone's focused on the Ukraine. When the war in Syria is still waging, they financed all the terrorists there. It's all financed by the multi-conglomerates who are just fronts for a criminal international mafia that run this hidden system under human slavery and child trafficking, organ trafficking, where the Clinton Foundation has been shown through the WikiLeaks to be a major part of that. You are being taken down! All of you! All the religions! We're going to walk right into the Vatican. I mean it! When I say it, I create it! It's just a matter of the time. I'll do everything in my power to take back this planet. The same as I've done everything in my power to write the third notice that was sent off yesterday. Received today, probably. By the man who at times acts as judge. He's fully liable for all the things we mentioned in the document. And there's so many more informations coming your way here because it's a quantum leap happening. Like, whoa! I finally have time for other things. It's just yesterday was the first day where I'm like, I can finally switch off. I can finally switch off and relax. I'm in a place where I can shout like that and not have any consequences because I set my reality, I define my reality, and I eliminate any access points who's trying to maneuver themselves into my reality through hacks. I can eliminate them, and you know what consequences there are for me for speaking the way I speak and for taking on the biggest criminal mafia the world has ever seen? Nothing. There are no consequences except good consequences because I am in the truth saying that. When you know how reality works and when you take command, you set your reality. And it's not easy. I've not had contact with all the people for a year. It's only been me and Liz the last half a year at least. At least. Before that, me, Liz and Errol, the infiltrator. Because the satanic psychopaths needed an access point. To create virtual reality simulation, they need an access point. There's so many things that I could tell you about, which will blow your mind. Because I can tell you, I'm in total control of my reality. And I know they can't come into my reality. Because I'm the one and only authority. Because otherwise evil would always win. And that would be proof then that evil is above the principles of the natural order, which they are not. They are not. They are bound to the natural order just as much as we are bound. However, they set up this criminal system in order to be able to run away and hide away from the responsibility for the consequences of their actions and put that onto us. And I know the exact mechanism of how they do it, which I'll make you aware of in the shows to come. Now, I'm gonna wrap this up. The quantum leap of the Gnostic Takeover also has it that we are going public now. We're expecting Leonie to come back to her mother anytime soon now. And we're going public. Public speaking, presentations, the Gnostic Takeover, here in Austria, everywhere. Informing the people what's really going on. The message of, you know what, the earth. She's had enough. And she, just like me, is saying, no fucking way are we having a crisis. They would want crisis. They want the public go mad at their actions, that they have robbed everyone. What happened with the scam of since 2020 was the biggest transfer of wealth that ever happened in the history of mankind. Before that was 2008, the financial crisis, biggest robbery of the psychopathic class on mankind. And now the psychopathic class wants the public to go mad so they can declare martial law. Take the children away of everyone who's not had the experimental gene therapy. That's the way they wanted the world to go, but this is an intervention. The Gnostic Takeover is divine intervention. The Gnostic Takeover says it only comes in through you. Divine intervention from ships coming from somewhere. And Trump, like, whoa, they did a job on people's minds there, huh? Phew. There's actually still people, and the feeling I have is actually lots of people who actually still believe that Trump's going to save them. I mean, think about that for a moment. Think about all the predictions that never came to pass, and still they cling on to it. Yeah, because it's a religion, which we don't do here. So yeah, we're going public. Nothing that anyone can do about that, because we're bringing back ancient shamanism, which means that you are the space keeper. No one can invade your reality, because my space is under the protection of the highest source of all creation at all times. So no one can invade my space. And we just move on. Take back this country here in Austria. You're going to see that. You're going to see it. You're going to see it. It's not about me. I just happen to be a pioneer. I break this information. Where else are you getting this sort of information? Please, in the comment section, leave it there. Where can I hear this? I'd love to hear it. Taking back the country of Austria first. First domino to fall for the international crime syndicate. And then the people are in charge here. It's going to be way easier than people make it up to be. Oh, it's going to be so complicated being in charge of all this responsibility. Well, first you have to take responsibility for your life, and then you can do everything. We are so creative. We're so filled with potential. Everyone listening here, otherwise you wouldn't be listening. So filled with potential that it's just waiting to come out. Yeah. Yes. Power. We can do it. I'm not the crazy one. They're the crazy ones. They call me psychotic because they are psychotic. I'm a maverick. I dream big dreams, and I don't settle for the crumbs. I take the whole freaking lot. Not just one biscuit. I take the whole freaking lot. And I don't mean money. I mean power over all of Earth. You're all done. There is a new boss in town, and it's called the Forces of Ultimate Power. And we're going to give it to all the people. Just ignite their flames. As Socrates said, education is the kindling of a flame. It is not the filling of a vessel. We just have to kindle that flame inside of us. Hopefully that message kindles your flame and you realize, oh, there's going to be food shortages, just a tunnel vision. Ooh, it's the Archons again. It's the vampires. Oh, but we're alternative media. We're informing other people. No, you're keeping people in a tunnel vision. That's criminal. Then you tell them, you go into their shows and you tell them, and then they don't invite you anymore. Yeah, because they're paid off, controlled. Because this world's criminal system is run on its basic foundation with the control of information. The Gnostic Takeover does a video, does an interview on all these different platforms, alternative media, and they never ever come back to me. Never ever. No, don't interview him because he's local. Yeah, because he's talking the real shit. We take it all back because it's all or nothing. You can't have a little bit. You can't have your little small community. You can't have it. You can't have your little small community. You can have it. You can blow smoke up your ass. Have your little small community. But it's only going to last temporarily for a limited time space until you've got martial law going on. They impose martial law. And then the criminals, they break down your door. They break down your door, and then it was bad luck. Oh, we tried our best, but no! You didn't solve the problem from the root level. That's what the Gnostic Takeover is saying. It's good that people are in small communities. I'm not saying I've got something against small communities. It's not what I'm saying. I'm making the point that if you're blowing smoke up your ass and you think that's the way to go and I'm just going to look out for me and I can only do my little thing, we need to take over. This is what I'm just putting forward. It's good that people have a thriving small community and extending that and doing great work. If your heart is pumping for that, I'm the first one to say continue. But inside of me is the conqueror. I'm just saying you can't share Earth with psychopaths. It's like cancer. You have to heal it thoroughly, holistically. That's what you do when you go to the root, to the causal level, which is we are the authority here. We do not tolerate criminals on our planet anymore. Everyone's liable for their actions. And it's game freaking over for the psychopathic criminal class. Right, so that's that for now. Happy to have had all of you on here. I'm going to go swimming now, enjoy my day, and continue anchoring myself in the original, natural, organic reality, where I am the one and only authority, and you are too. When you claim this as your property, when you command your reality, when you set your reality, otherwise your reality is going to be manufactured for you if you do not take it back. That is your responsibility only. So till next time, take very good care. All the best from me. Much love.